Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome to the LSE Transfer Room Thursday night stream. And on Thursday nights, we tell you the truth. On Thursday nights, we do not gaslight. We do not hide around bushes. We do not give you what you want to hear. We give you what you need to hear on Thursday nights. Views given with no delusion, no bias, and straight to the point, basically, on Thursday nights. If you don't like that, if you like being gaslighted, if you like being lied to, then there is other channels out there that you may like a bit more than this one right now. First and foremost, boys, after last night, I know it's still hurting probably because it's got to the point now where we're thinking, is this the season done because of last night? And it's been building up. It's been building up for weeks on weeks that these performances have been coming. They've been coming for months, unless you watch it like this. That these performances have come with the results will come at this point with performances like that. Is the season done, Carter, do you think, after last night?
I almost thought it was kind of done after Palace. Like it was at that point really was out of our hands. We were relying on other people. But I think at this point it's just been sort of a culmination of just sort of getting not let down, but just us losing games and making mistakes. So yesterday, after they scored the first goal, I wasn't even surprised at that point. I just think it's just we're just going out a bit sad now. It's just a bit disappointing, but what can you do?
I'm just going through the chat here, and John says, "Hi guys, really disappointed to hear LSE fans have a big, I don't know what that says actually. Saying a big moan up about Klopp. He has done something no other manager has done, and as one as the league has some respect. I think yes, Jurgen Klopp deserves absolute criticism, especially for last night. Last night's was basically on him, obviously the players as well. But I couldn't believe he didn't bring Dan's on at all. I couldn't believe he made the subs that he did at the time that he did. I couldn't believe the starting 11 that he played. Like he should have been picking Gravenberch after his performance at the weekend. That was definitely on Jurgen Klopp. But let's get things straight right now. Jurgen Klopp has worked with shoestring budget and has got the best out of what he has can over the past few years. Yes, he deserves the criticism. Absolutely. Some of his substitutions in the past 2-3 years have been mediocre, to say the least, and been downright costing us points. But in total, Jurgen Klopp is not the fully at fault, and he deserves definite respect. And I said it in a chat, and it sparked a debate. It sparked an argument. Let's be honest. When I say anything about FSG, it sparks World War III. When everyone else says something about FSG, it's sort of patted to the side. But I think we've wasted Jurgen Klopp. I do think we've wasted Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp's going to be, I think, should be in these conversations with the likes of Fergie, the likes of Pep. But he's not going to be in these conversations because he's simply not achieved enough at Liverpool. And that's the simple line of it. He has not achieved enough. But there is more to the reason why he hasn't achieved enough. There needs to be context used, and people don't like to have that context because they don't like to have those conversations, unfortunately. Paul, you got a lot to get off your chest off last night, I hear.
Yes, after the Palace game, I kind of felt that it would be extremely difficult for us to really win the league because then we are relying on not just one team, but two teams to slip up, which is a big ask with 5 games to go. Not only would we rely on both teams to slip up, but we would also need to be perfect for the remaining 5 or 6 games to really have a realistic chance. So after the Palace game, I kind of say, you know what, this is it. But at the same time, if we lose the Premier League this year by 2 points, then I'll be even more upset, right? Because this Everton team is not a good team. We make them look much better than they really are. And one thing that really disappointed me most about yesterday's performance. Yes, first of all, I agree with you, Damon. The starting 11 was ridiculous because when you play against a low block team like Everton, you need midfielders or players who can go past people. Because all Everton did was had 2 banks of 4, and they had Dama Calvert-Lewin leading the line with the other guy right behind him, and then 2 banks of 4. So all your passing side to side and then backwards, side to side, and then you go over the top. bypassing the midfield, you're just playing right into the hands of Everton. That is exactly how they want you to play. So that you cannot have a player like Gravenberch, who his last game was probably one of his best games in the Liverpool shirt, who's one of the few players that we have that can dribble, can pass a defender instead of just going side to side, and then you have him on the bench. That I could not understand that. And even when you made a substitution when we were down, you bring on Endo, a DM, and Gravenberch was still on the bench. That blows my mind. But another thing too that worries me, I have been around football for all my life. Obviously, I did make it, but I am not a coach like Klopp. But I understand certain strategy. Everybody knew what Everton was going to do. Everton was going to play with 4 banks of 4 and then wait on set piece opportunities. That's the only way they're going to score. And the way we defend Everton set piece, it was hilarious. It was as if we had no clue what was going to happen. How can we have Trent, our worst defender, standing right beside Calvert-Lewin at the back post, which is probably the only threat? That is irresponsible coaching, right? So I just couldn't get that. We got a dozen corners, and we did nothing with them. We didn't even come close to scoring on one of their corners. And every time Everton get a set piece or a corner, I just cover my eyes. So, yes, Klopp is probably the best manager in my lifetime as a Liverpool supporter. And when you compare Klopp to what we had before, to Rodgers, it's chalk and cheese, right? But if we are going to praise Klopp when he does well, which we always do, I think we should be able to criticize him when he messed up. And I was so disappointed. Listen, if Everton had come and played us off the ball, off the park, and beat us, I would say, you know what? That was a performance I didn't expect. But to see Everton come and play exactly the way we knew they was going to play, the only way they can play, and we were not ready. We did not play the right 11. It's very, very disappointing.
Let's get one thing straight here, because I see a lot of people criticise, rightly so, of players, of Klopp, of certain and other things as well, and they get put down, right? And they get put down for criticising. Let's get one thing clear here. They have every single right for criticising the player's performance. They have every single right for criticising Klopp. They have every single right for criticising FSG when it needs to be criticised. When you put someone down for their opinion, you are simply not listening to what their opinion is about, and you're not having accountability for what's going on here. If everyone didn't criticise, and the players will tell you the same thing, the players will happily be criticised because they'll have a different mindset to what some fans have. They know that they need to improve. But if everyone was happy with the way they are, then standards would never improve. That's one thing I would tell you. The standard was never improve. If someone just sat there and happily strode along and not be told that this is wrong, you need to do this, you need to do this a bit better, they'd happily be the same level all the time. And what we saw last night, what we've seen against Palace, what we've seen against Manchester United, what we saw against Atalanta, was our players are now playing to the standard that some of our fans see them as. They're low standards. Some of our fans have standards that low, they can tell you the temperature of the core of the earth. They are now playing at that standard. And we're somehow shocked that we're playing to that standard. We need to level our standards. And exactly the same when I speak about FSG, there's a certain standard at Liverpool Football Club that needs to be approached. And we can't accept mediocrity. And that's exactly what we're doing. And that's exactly what we're getting now on the pitch, unfortunately. Kings, is it still bugging you after last night? I mean, it was a lot. I mean, I saw in our chat last night, I saw a reaction to the game last night, and someone said, "Oh well." I couldn't believe I saw "Oh well" last night. Like, we lost in the Merseyside Derby against a team that is pretty much saved relegation now. Possibly took us out of the title. The last Merseyside Klopp Derby, the last Merseyside Derby at Goodison Park, and we got an "Oh well." Kings, is that the standards of Liverpool Football Club?
No, it's not. The problem is, I've seen it in the chat, funny enough, going along. But my opinion is, obviously, the games against Manchester United a few weeks back, including the Cup, we shot ourselves in the foot. All them chances we had, and I think from there, we didn't take them. Obviously, went out of the cup, and then I think the games against Atalanta, we just weren't there. I genuinely feel the last 6, 7, 8 games, they've been so off it. Really, yes, we might have won, odd things in there, but I don't think as a team we've been that good. And I was talking to another Liverpool fan today, and he said, have we overachieved, really, the last couple of years? And people expect us to be this good. And it's like, I don't know. I'm looking at some of the players, and a lot of my friends always say, I sit on the fence. I'm pretty easygoing about stuff. And yes, sometimes I'll sit there and go, oh, well, we lost. I've learned as I've got older, it doesn't stab me kind of thing when we lose. It's kind of like, listen, I'm a fully grown man. It's like there's more important things in life than football, although we don't think it sometimes. So it's like I've learned to switch off after. So I switched off last night. It's like, it's done. Can't change the result. Do I like the result? No. Do I else like? I think, like I said, they've been playing poorly. Some players need calling out. I mean, Salah's been poor. Nunez is missing anything that he's given when he's one-on-ones or anything, any shot he has. I think it was unfair, actually, to drop Kelleher, although Alisson's been a good goalie, and he's fantastic. He's still good. But Kelleher's been fantastic as well this season. And as soon as Alisson's ready, you're out, mate. And it's like, well,
I disagree.
Yeah, I think
that's
Alisson
fine.
goes back in. I do think Alisson goes
okay.
back in.
But look at yesterday, that first goal. It just squirms under it. Now, it can happen to any goalie. I'm not saying he was at fault for that. It's just the way it happens, and it's sod's law. But I just think a lot of players are just not quite on the ball at the moment. Pardon the pun. And it's really disappointing to see that the way is that Klopp's going to almost limp out of the Premier League. It's like, we had such high hopes when he took over, and he did bring us success in the middle of his reign. But gradually, over the last couple of years, we've had all the thing of, well, we could win the quadruple. And that's been twice we've had it in the last 2 or 3 seasons. And we've ended up with 2 trophies in one and 1 trophy in this. As for the league, are we out of it? Most definitely. We were out of it, as Carter said, when we lost to Crystal Palace, Man City are not going to slip up. They're not going to slip up against Brighton tonight. I mean, Arsenal at the moment, they do seem on fire the way they knock 5 past. Yeah, it's like there's no way we're going to win the league. If we win the league, I'm coming to your house, Damon, and I'll eat your hat, because it's not going to happen.
Definitely. I'll happily serve it on the plate. If we win the league, mate, I'll serve it on the plate.
I'll happily be video trying to eat it if we win the league, but I can't see it happening.
John says here, Maka as a DM is a disaster. Cheap fouls away, we waste creativity. Something I also called out earlier on in the season, but I got argued against again. But what do I know? The boys gave up after the Man United game. Can't call them men after last night. Glad Edwards is back. Nunez, some of the back four needs to be sorted as well. We're going to go on to the transfers in just a short while, especially about Nunez as well. Pedro Tor says here, so Liverpool getting a cheap manager who's always smashed up against Ten Hag's, and now he's coming. FSG ambition sucks. See, with regarding the manager, we're going to go on to the Slot a bit further on. I don't think Slot deserves. I think he deserves a chance. But again, I do think it is FSG with lack of ambition, if that makes sense. I do think they could have got someone better at that point. But I still think Slot is. I think Slot is a decent manager from what I've seen. From what I've seen of feyenoord, they play decent football. But we've got to give him a chance. And I do believe we've got to back any manager that comes in. And the manager is always the main guy at Liverpool Football Club. And once he's here, we back him. If it don't work out, then we know to put our blame, and it's not on the manager. These players I've mentally checked out a while ago. Alisson's at fault for the first goal only. Only Diaz tried the better players. Yeah, Diaz was incredible last night. It's just the thing is with Diaz, he has this all the time. His running's incredible, his dribbling's incredible, he takes on players. But it's either his final third situation where if his decision making or it's his shot is just not good enough, or his cross is not good enough. And if he picks up on that, he could be an incredible player. But he's getting on a bit as well. Lads, Slot just spoke about Liverpool in an interview. Liverpool for a new manager. Oh, no, Liverpool got no manager yet. We're going to go into the transfer talks right now, though, guys. David Ornstein's come out with a few things today, actually, and he said quite a lot. I don't mean it was in an interview, but David Ornstein said quite a lot today. First thing, boys, is that Liverpool are not prepared to sell Darwin Nunez. Kings, are you happy with that news? do you want to see Nunez get further more chance, or do you think it's time to cash in?
After last night, like I just said, he misses anything that he seems to get at his feet. And then there's other times we know he can be phenomenal in front of goal. Pick out, obviously, the Newcastle game where he saved our skin. But, as I said previously, I think on the show a couple of weeks ago, it depends. The manager comes in. I don't know Slot. I've never even heard of his name. There again, I'd never heard of Amorim or whatever. I don't follow European football. So when these names come out, and I said it at the time, it's like it depends on the manager coming in. Somebody could come in and just make a small tweak different to what Klopp does with him, and he could be on fire. He could hit 10 goals in 10 games. Otherwise, he could tweak him a slightly different way, and he gets even worse, which, if possible. But do you know what I mean? It's like it all depends on who comes in as well, and whether Salah and Nunez and Jota and Diaz are all still there after the summer. You could have somebody else who comes in and goes, right, play him alongside Nunez, and they're going to work. And it just strikes up a partnership, and it just does work. So there's all ifs and buts, unfortunately. And if they're saying they're not going to sell him, then yes, the new manager's going to have a chance to work with him and see what he can do. I think if he had another season like this, where he's kind of like 50-50, then yeah, I think the questions need to be asked then. But give him a chance with a new manager. Let's see how he goes, and hopefully he can come good. But
well, come to a boy, not him. Slot has actually said it's no secret that I would like to go to Liverpool. Now I'm waiting for the clubs to reach an agreement. I have every confidence in that. I think this pretty much confirms. And I think I've just been tagged in something as well about Fabrizio Romano tweeting this up. So I presume this is what is coming out right now. It pretty much looks like Arne Slot is going to be the new Liverpool manager. And as Dave Ansley said today, it's progressing. It's positive at the moment. So I do think within the next week or 2 weeks, I think we will be seeing it come to fruition where we do finally have a new manager. And like McCartney said in the chat, let's all get behind a new manager and give him a chance. I do believe in that every single time. I think he can bring a new vibe. I think we do need a new person here. We need a new vibe. We need a direction. I think Jurgen Klopp does look like he's had enough. And we're definitely in that refreshment. And hopefully, I say hopefully, I know he ain't going to get the backing that he needs to change things around, but I hope he can coach these players to become better like Nunez. Paul, again, honestly came out and saying Amorim was never the favourite as well. I don't know if that's just coming out because Slot looks like pretty much nailed on now. Amorim, the club's going to put out there that Amorim wasn't favoured. They're going to say he wasn't the first choice, and look like they've failed on that front. But are you happy with Slot then, Paul? Looking like it is going to be him.
Well, just like Kings, I really don't follow football outside of other than Premier League. I watch a little bit of the Bundesliga and a little Spanish football, but I don't follow the Dutch league and the Portugal league. So I wasn't really. I heard the name Slot just last year when Tottenham was trying to sign him, but other than that, I don't know too much about the guy. But this is why I'm optimistic. Richard Edwards. I have a lot of respect for Richard Edwards. And I'm
Richard Hughes or Michael Edwards, which one?
Michael Edwards, sorry.
It's
both
a
of them.
It could be like a
Combination.
power range. That's right. It's like a power range.
Michael Edwards. This is why I'm very optimistic. I strongly believe that Michael Edwards only agreed to return to Liverpool because Klopp is leaving. Because there is evidence that there was a rocky relationship between Edwards and Klopp. And the reason for that is Klopp wanted too much say in transfers and those kind of stuff, while Edwards just wanted Klopp to coach the team. And Edwards always proved to be right. I don't know if you guys remember, but Klopp wanted Mario Götze and Julian Brand.
Yeah.
And Edwards said, the way we play, we need Sadio Mane and Mo Salah. Right? So I don't need to tell you who was right. Klopp didn't want to sell Philip Coutinho. Right? And Edwards said, for the money that we get in, and we need reinforcement at the back and goalkeeper, we need to move on. So I don't need to tell you who was right. So the only reason Edwards is back is because Klopp is leaving. Now, because I trust Edwards, then I am willing to give whoever he chooses as the manager a fair shot. So I did not do all this deep dive into Slot and Amorim like some of you guys have done. I watched a couple of YouTube videos here and there, yes, but I didn't do any deep dive and say he's the guy, yes. So I can't tell you much about Slot other than, you know, a little bit that I've seen on YouTube, which is not much. But I trust Michael Edwards. I trust him and his team. So if he, even when it relates to, we're going to need to bring in a couple of players in the summer. I'm going to move on from some people, whether we move on from Salah or whoever. I think the way the club is set up right now, I think is fine. And I also believe that Slot was told that we will consult you. Yes, when it comes to transfers, you can have a say, but your job is to coach the squad, right? He will not be able to pick and choose his team, his players, like what happened with Ten Hag. You know, when Ten Hag said, listen, I want Anthony for 85 million. The club said, nope, it's not worth it. And Ten Hag said, I want Anthony. He said, okay, here's Anthony. That won't happen with Edwards and Richard Hughes. So I am very optimistic. So even though I'm still grieving that Klopp is leaving, but I'm just thinking maybe in a year or 2 or 3, we might say, you know what, he left at the right time because everything run its course. And it's better for Klopp to leave when we think he should stay, you leave a little early, than to hang on too long and then become the next Arsene Wenger who stayed 2-3 years too long until, you know, it just petered out to nothing. So I don't know much about Slot, but I am willing to give him all of my support.
What's so funny, really, the way the season's petering out now, everyone seems to be getting a bit happier with Klopp leaving. Not happier, but more like acceptance that he's leaving because, I mean, it's not looking good at the moment. Amorim was Edwards' number 1 choice, but FSG are tight and sadly not get him. If Edwards wanted him, I'm okay. VVD last night didn't seem enthusiastic about him. That's my only concern. Klopp can go, I'm not grieving, time to leave. Never give up. Never give up. You'd not give up there. Never give up on Jurgen Klopp. Yeah, I think we still can accept that Klopp's leaving, and I think we all know by now that I think it does seem the right time right now because of the way the team's panning out. You know, if we went on to win the league, would everyone be saying it's the right time? You don't know. I think it is like right now. It just feels the right time because of the recent results and the way he's looking a bit down and a bit tired. Let the sale of Nunez and Diaz happen ASAP. Let it happen now, Paul Smith says. A quite crushing statement there from Paul Smith that Nunez and Diaz to be sold now. Carter, with Nunez, frustrating. Very, very frustrating. And the thing is with Nunez, right, he's not the scapegoat, by the way. Regardless how many people can shove the narrative down my neck that he's been a scapegoat, he's the only one that's been targeted. He is not. He's not the only one being targeted. Everyone else has got given a bit of criticism towards him. Salah has, Trent has, you know, Macro has off last night. Soboslai has got a bit of criticism recently. Diaz had his criticism. It's not just Nunez, but Nunez right now is not helping himself completely. And every single fan I know, including myself, I've done it on here, I did it on our podcast with AFTV's Cecil and 2 Man United fans that I backed Nunez. I said, look, he's a difference maker for us. But he's not helping his cause right now. He's missing chances that I think I could score in a 5-a-side, for example. And Sturridge really, really said it last night on Sky Sports. Sturridge basically said he should be putting that away. He should not even be thinking, why is he putting his foot through it like that? And I said the exact same. Why is as a professional striker, a forward that should be scoring goals naturally, just sticking his foot through it and hitting and hoping? To me, that's not a striker. Certainly not at Premier League level. I don't think it's a striker I've seen at Sunday League level that does that. They know where the goal is. They know they should put it on the far post. Where do we go with Nunez? Do we still give him this chance where he can prove people wrong, or people say prove wrong, but is it out on the left? I still think he's more of a left winger, but how many times can you give a player a chance before, you know, twice bitten, you know, is it twice bitten shy, something like that? Once bitten, my fault, twice bitten shy. Are you giving him another chance, or is it time to go, Carter?
I honestly think for me, I can get what everyone says, but if you look at even I'm going to put this to Salah and people can disagree with me. Sometimes Salah takes a lot of chances to score. I know maybe not the first season, but some games Salah could have scored a few more goals. And I think Nunez, he's already got a very good output. I think he's always, you look at some strikers, right? I think Nunez's best asset is his movement. Not every striker is super clinical. And yeah, you'd love them to be, but Danny Ings is probably one of the most clinical strikers Liverpool have had, but he can't get himself any chances because he's not big enough, he's not quick enough. So for a team like us, he's not going to get chances. So I think when you look at him as a package, in a game, you have to give him 4 or 5 chances because I think he takes the most shots in the top 5 leagues. So obviously his XG is going to be difficult to perform to. If you take the most shots, it's going to be hard to shoot like a high percentage. That's just how it is. The more shots you take, difficult it is to be consistent. And I just think he's already shown he's got good output. He's improved last year. This is only his 4th year playing in a top flight league. This is his 2nd year playing in like a good level league where all the stadiums are like proper stadiums and they're not playing against people who are on like £1,000 a week. These are all top level players. I think you've seen for him for Uruguay, he's done well against Argentina, done well against Brazil. I think physically he's already competes. I think the issue is right now, we're not playing well. And a guy like Nunez, he'll get more chances than Jota. But in a game like that where we're rubbish, you want Jota because he'll take his one chance. But Nunez is going to get, in a game, if we just play very well, Jota will get himself 3 good chances. Nunez will get himself 5 good chances. And I think that's the difference. And Nunez will score his goals.
Let me ask you a question. In a team like Liverpool, in a club at Liverpool Football Club, can we allow a player to have 6, 7, 8 shots and potentially not score? That's the question right now.
Well, I'd argue Firmino would take loads of shots and would barely score.
Oh, come on.
I'm just saying, Mane, there were stretches where he wouldn't score. And Salah takes a lot of shots and doesn't always score. So I'm just saying, Nunez is still really young. Nunez is probably younger than the age we signed Salah and Mane. I think he's come in. I think the team isn't as balanced. I think Salah's getting older. I don't think Diaz creates many chances. And I think last night, Nunez could have had 2 assists. I know he didn't score, but he offers something. He always offers something. Apart from Diaz got the shot from Nunez, he had the other shot. What did Salah do? What did Diaz do? I think Nunez, no matter what he does, he makes things happen. Even when he gives opportunities to other people, he makes space. Whereas I think Diaz isn't going to be involved in a goal every game. But I think so many games, Nunez wins the flick down. Like if you look at a lot of the goals when Nunez is on the pitch, he's like he gets the pre-assist. He wins the ball. I think he's so involved. I think it's just he's a bit of the ugly duckling in the team. Like people say, oh yeah, Diaz did all this. What he just runs, he just puts his head down, and half the time there's no end product. I'd rather someone do it and not look clean and conventional than be a bit of like not a headless chicken. But that's what Diaz looks to me like sometimes, where I think at least Nunez is having real impact consistently.
With Nunez, I get his impact on the game most of all, but he hasn't been doing that in the last few games. He hasn't even had the impact on the game that he can do. And when that's not there and he's not scoring as well, it's just twice as bad. And for me, I still think if you're number 9 and you're up there, if you're not Firmino, the Firmino comparison's mad because Firmino was the system. It was a completely... He didn't have to score the goals. He was the system. Nunez is not the system. Nunez is brought in to be a goal scorer. Nunez is brought in to obviously create havoc, but brought in for goals, basically. And I think you could also argue, saying like Salah and Mane there for a better what did you say? A better formation, better construction around him.
It was easier for them to succeed, basically. Yeah,
I think Nunez has a better people passing the ball as well. I think he's got better service. In the likes of Trent's got better with his passing. I know he was class back then, but he's even got better. Alexis McAllister is one of the best passers in the league in terms of that creating chances anyway. But I think Salah's turned creative as well. Salah's turned more creative than what he was back 3 years ago.
I think though they just don't have a relationship like Mane, Salah, and Firmino. They played together for so long. Mane and Firmino were together for ages. The midfield, people knew exactly what people were going to do, where they were going to go. Like, we'd probably watch a game and go, he's going to pass there, he's going to pass there, he's going to pass there. Sometimes when we run up in a counter-attack, you don't know where the ball's going to go. Most of the time, someone drives up the pitch and plays the wrong pass. I just think these guys don't even have like a proper relationship. We're chopping and changing the team every game. Like, one game Szoboszlai plays and then one game Elliott plays, and no one can build up like a real like connection and know where people are going to go. And that's why we were so good. It's because, like clockwork, everyone was going to go here, going to go here, going to go here, and we'd make the similar type of goal every time. But I don't think we score, apart from outside of the box. We have no, like, I couldn't tell you what a Liverpool goal looks like now, apart from maybe a long shot or something. But before, I'd say maybe it's a 1-2. But we scored a lot of goals this year. We still scored a good amount. It's more the defense, like. But we just, most of them are like outs. If you had to tell me what most Liverpool goals are, I'd say it's someone shooting from the edge of the box, and that's not sustainable. But I don't know.
The thing is with Nunez, right? And people will say, look, he can't score goals. His shooting's poor, but it's not just his shooting for me either. His footballing IQ is not that good from what I've seen, and his decision making on the ball, and just simple things that he could change. And his touch of the ball is a bit poor as well. I think he's a bit like Lukaku without the finisher. I think Lukaku was actually a better finisher than that. And Lukaku got a lot of stick from us. Would we give Lukaku that chance if Lukaku came to us, for example? We laughed at United fans for keeping it when he had basically a better shot than Nunez. By the way, see, Lukaku's had way more potential than Nunez has ever had. He was doing it at Everton, he was doing it at West Brom. But at least he had previous of proving that he could be a goal scorer at Everton and West Brom, and he is doing now at Inter.
Nunez again was another club signing, and this is part of the problem too, because I think it might be fair to say that Klopp was the one that pushed hard to get Nunez. It's been reported that he was one who really pushed hard to get Nunez, and there were other people in the backroom staff that didn't think the profile matches exactly what we're looking for. But anyway, that's water under the bridge. My problem with Nunez is, in this league, you don't expect your strikers to be scoring worldies every game. They will score a worldie every 5 or 6 games. But what you want your strikers to do is to make the right decision with the simple goals. It's not too much to ask. Look at yesterday. When you are right there 2 yards from the goalkeeper, and if you go half a yard either side, it's a short goal. And all you can do is just blast it straight on the legs of the goalkeeper. These are the stuff that just, grind me the wrong way. Just take a half a second, see the goalkeeper, and put it either side instead of just kicking the ball straight at him. So I don't know. I agree we have to keep him for another year. First of all, if we were even planning to sell him, we wouldn't advertise that we're going to sell him. So this article about we're not selling Nunez means nothing, right? But I still don't think we should sell him now. First of all, we won't get much for him right now based on this year's performance. So I think we should keep him for sure, because who to tell, maybe a different system, maybe a different way to play with the new manager, because he has still has a lot to offer. And frankly, he can't get any worse. So, I think he's so low right now that he can only go up.
Don't tempt it, Paul. Don't start saying this. Don't start saying that. We're hitting 5 1-on-1s on this weekend.
But the question though is, what is his best position?
I still think left wing, personally. I just think centrally he doesn't have the composure of a proper central striker. And coming from the left wing, his goals tend to come from he likes to hit it from a long range sometimes, and he's got a few goals coming from the left into the back. But remember,
his best game was that half hour he came on against Newcastle when and his 2 goals were from the right side.
Well, yeah, but I still think he's a left winger. But yeah, that was from the right as well. I think he's, but it came from a wide position rather than.
Yeah. So basically, he's not a number 9 then.
He's bought in for a number 9. It's hard, isn't it? Because we've got 4 or 5 left wingers, man.
That's it. We have too many left wingers, and even Szoboszlai is actually a left winger. So the team is just unbalanced, because you have Jota, Lucho, Cody Gakpo. They all play the same position. So and we don't have a number 9. So we just I think we need.
I'm hoping the recruitment is different this summer, and obviously Klopp's not here. Slot will not get that sort of power of recruitment. He'll have his words. He'll need his words because it's going to be his team that he's managing. So he needs some sort of word. But as Paul just said, Klopp was Nunez's main reason why he came in. Nunez was a Klopp signing, and Joyce confirmed that today. Paul Joyce confirmed that today, and the recruitment actually wanted Christian Nkunku, who went to Chelsea. Also, the injuries at Chelsea. Again, I liked Nkunku at Leipzig as well. I think he was a very, very talented. I'm surprised we didn't get Nkunku. I think Nkunku was mainly the Firmino sort of replacement more than anyone, from what I saw in terms of who we were linked to. He seemed more Firmino type than Nkunku than anyone else. Going on from Nunez, then on to other players as well and player contracts. And David Ornstein again. Mr. David Ornstein, busy man today. He has come out and said that Liverpool are prioritising 12-month contract players and making sure they are signed on. So that includes like Virgil, Trent on there as well. We need to make sure they're signed on to new contracts. Who are we keeping, Kings, and who are we letting go, do you think? Who would you like to keep and let go?
All right. I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. You've got to keep Trent and you've got to keep Virgil. From there, it's like, I'm not sure, to be honest. As you find in all football clubs, there's turnover in the summer. Sometimes January, but mainly in the summer. You might like a player, but it doesn't mean they're not going to move. And they could have 3 years on a deal. It doesn't mean they're not going to move. So there's nothing to say that any particular player is safe. It doesn't matter who they are. Yes, we don't. As fans, we can look up and say, well, we love Virgil van Dijk because he's this, and we love Alisson because he's that, and Salah, etc. It doesn't matter who you pick. If the manager or the recruitment team, whoever in which club, decide that they need to change a different direction, etc., they just come in and go, well, actually, you're not needed now. Now, sometimes the player might just say, well, I'm staying anyway, but you'll notice he'll never hardly play. They'll just be sidelined and they'll get somebody else in until they agree to go. But other times, most of the top players now definitely want to play. So if it's not at this club, they'll go, okay, we'll move on. So it's a difficult one, really, because it doesn't really matter what I think. The team are going to come in. Michael Edwards is going to have a fixed view and go, this is how it should be. And we've trusted him before and he's done that. And then when he left, obviously Klopp took over and said, well, no, it's going to be this way. And to a point, it's worked. This season, it's definitely now getting, it's falling off the edge of a cliff at the moment.
Yeah. The Mexican striker I've seen linked with Liverpool and with Slot and Liverpool. I'm guessing you're on about Jimenez from feyenoord. Funnily enough, about 5 months ago now, I mentioned Jimenez being a perfect fit for Arsenal. Didn't know Nunez were going to fall out like this. I didn't know Slot were going to be our manager. Does it make sense for Liverpool, Jimenez? Possibly.
He's left-footed too, so
he's a very clinical striker. He can offer everything. He's quite a target man. He's good in the air. I've watched him quite a bit. I like him. I looked at him more when my mate's an Arsenal fan. I was speaking to him about Jimenez. I said, you should go get Jimenez. And when he was talking about getting Ivan Toney, I said, Jimenez, he can offer it all. He's got what a target man needs. But again,
he's a number 9. He's a number 9. He's not a winger. 9. Yeah.
And if Slot comes in and he wants to play that target man player, then Jimenez is definitely should be up there in terms of we should be looking at, I think, as a number 9. And he's going to be, let's be honest, guys, here. He's going to be in the reports in the summer, Jimenez. Whether we want him or not, he's going to be in the reports because lazy journalism is out there. And it's a simple thing to be linked to with Slot coming in. So, and we need to talk about Nunez leaving and needing a striker. So I think he's going to be linked, whether it's true links or not, we don't know yet. And yet we are happy with top 4 this season. Well, a lot of people are happy with top 4 Corona, I'm afraid, but that's the level that we're playing at the moment. So they must be happy. They must be absolutely chuffed with this season getting top 4.
We're not there yet.
Even Klopp said that last night.
No, we're not there yet.
We're definitely top 4.
We need to beat Spurs.
Even Klopp mentioned we haven't got top 4 yet. I think, yeah. Imagine if Klopp said that in our chat. God, he'd get us some right stick. It'd be World War III again. Anyway, before we do move on to the next subject tonight, please make sure you do like and subscribe. We've had nearly nearly 100 watchers in tonight and 100 viewers live tonight. Thank you for watching, guys. But make sure, whilst you are in, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe button, and share with your friends. Share with anyone you want to share with. But please make sure you can do what you can do from your end whilst we do ours from our end. And we will make better content for you once we get to a point of being in that position. But it's all about you guys helping us as well with likes and subscribes. There's definitely some names coming out now. And funnily enough, after defeat, I see it all the time. Every single time we have a bad result, there's always transfer rumours the next day. There's always new manager talks the next day. And William Pacha is the next player we're going to talk about, guys. Liverpool are prioritising this centre-back, Ecuadorian centre-back for Eintracht Frankfurt. Di Marzio said we're pushing hard. Santi Aura, who very reliable journalist, by the way, has said we are making him a priority. At least we're getting a centre-back, Carter. At least we're actually looking at positions we need right now.
And he's left-footed too.
Left-footed too. Yeah.
I think it's quite exciting. I think the money is the only thing I'm a bit like, it's a lot of money
How much?
Not my money, but I think they're saying like 65 is what Frankfurt want, because obviously they sold Kolo Muani for like £100 million.
Yeah.
So that's kind of set the price for them now. So I think it's a lot of money, but I just think people have praised Robertson this season. Look, love him, legend, club servant, everything, but he can't do what he used to do. I think he does stuff that's good, but it's not what you want him to do. He's doing the wrong stuff, but he's trying hard, so it looks good. I think he could cover there at left back.
Like Nunez, Carter, like Nunez.
But I think Nunez is like getting in goal positions. Like Nunez is putting himself there. I think Robertson like just jumps. Like in the Champions League final, he jumps when he shouldn't go, and it's just constantly like he leaves people. Like he leaves Van Dijk on his own. And I think a left-footed almost Joe Gomez, which is what I'm going to compare Pacho to, maybe pre the injury, like pre the first big injury for Gomez, where he was combative and quick and looked like he was going to be one of the best centre-backs in the world. I think it's a really good addition. And also, I think you need someone to play left centre-half, because as we've seen with certain players, Van Dijk is getting older. We shouldn't play Van Dijk every single minute of every single game, because if we do, he's going to be 36 and he's going to be absolutely finished. But if we can bring this guy in, and when we're playing 10 Champions League group games and when we're playing all these cup games, we can fit games in for Pacho. If we're playing Panathinaikos or Olympiacos, not to rip on Greek teams, or Young Boys or Basel, we shouldn't have to play Van Dijk. Like if we in the Europa League this year, we played Van Dijk against Toulouse. We might have played him against McAllister's brothers team. We shouldn't play Van Dijk in those games, and this is what happens with players. They like when he drops off a cliff, we shouldn't be surprised if we keep going like this. So I think a signing like him is great.
This is why about the recruitment needed to happen. This is why the transfer thing happened for squad depth. And the squad depth we had was Naby Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain. For Fabinho, and this is why Fabinho dropped off a cliff last season. Yeah, absolutely right with that. We need to bring squad depth in, and decent squad depth as well. And we don't need 200, 300 million like people say. It's just that extra bit of money that just to make sure Klopp or whoever takes over Slot when he takes over has enough tools to go and win trophies and win the league.
And you look at Trent as well. Trent this year started picking up loads of muscle injuries. So we got very lucky that Conor Bradley's come in, because Trent was just playing 90 minutes. And now we have I think Gomez is fine to cover at right back, but at least we have Conor Bradley, who is a very capable deputy and can attack. Like in certain games, you might not bring Bradley on, you bring Gomez on because you're like, we just need to defend. But at least now, if we're playing, if I don't know, Leicester come up or Leeds come up, we can play Conor Bradley. Like we'll be fine. If we've got a big Champions League game, play Conor Bradley and let Trent play that. We just don't need to. We don't need to just overwork these players and have a load of injury-prone players, basically.
The left side, Paul, is going to be a funny one to address, because everyone's had enough of Robbo, but everyone had enough of Simicat as well. So that's two players that were looking like were possibly leaving the club. I think maybe Robbo take a back seat, possibly. I think the best option, do you reckon? Robbo take a back seat for someone else coming in?
I don't think we can go into next season expecting Robbo to be our left back for most of the games. the one position on the football field where players age the most is your fullbacks.
Yeah.
Because once your fullback lose his legs, he's not the same player. Because fullbacks tend to cover more kilometers than any other position. And Robbo is really not the same. And also, both our fullbacks are not the greatest defensively, especially when we are defending set pieces. So I would consider somebody else. I wouldn't, and Simicas is not the answer. We get that. This Willian Pacho guy is quite interesting. I don't think he plays much fullback. I think he's just a centre back. I stand corrected. Yeah, but then with Slot, if Slot doesn't play a back three like Amorim, would Verge move to the right side if we're gonna play Pacho? How would that work? Because I don't know. Because I'm kind of a little bit worried too about Konate. The last couple of games, he has not looked the same. Yes, we know he has, this is injury prone. But even when he's been playing, this year has not been good for Konate. I'm started, and I've said it in the chat, that I think that Kwanzaa is slowly creeping up on Konate to be the first choice beside Verge. So the centre-back position is our weakest position, our defense. So I think we need a centre-back, and we need a left-back as well. We have an abundance of players in the midfield. I would not cry if we move on from one or two, even if we could sell some couple of them to fund more transfers.
Do you agree with this? Where Caron says here, Atlanta and Everton are showing that we need more physical players in midfield.
Yes.
I said it the other day, we need that physicality. I mean, someone else has said it here, we need more physicality in midfield and up front. I don't think we're getting bullied a lot in midfield.
Yep. We Curtis Jones is one of those players I'm so conflicted about. I've come on the channel and say I like Curtis Jones, what he has done, this early part of this year. But honestly, if we move on from Curtis Jones, if we can get 40-50 million for him, I would not cry. We need some physical presence. Yes, Soboslai is 6'2" or whatever it is. But for a big guy, he doesn't play physical. If you notice, he's taking the corners instead of being in the box to try to head them in, And if he's not taking the corner, he's like playing as a defender who's covering for fast break instead of being up there. So for a guy that is 6'2", I'm kind of surprised that he's not very physical. But I think we need some changes. We need two centre back, or a centre back and a left back. We need I'm with you now, Damon. We need a big physical number 6.
Welcome aboard.
Endo is a good option to have on the bench, but Endo, we need a big, strong, physical number 6, a Fabinho type. Yes, we probably won't go for this guy from Fulham because he's 28, 29. He's going to cost too much.
Yeah.
But he's another guy that's big, physical, strong, 6'2", 6'3", can put in a tackle.
I think if we got him in January, like everyone wanted him, I wanted him to come in January, I think we'll be top of the league.
But I think they're still, holding out, hope to see what Stefan will bring when he returns. But he needs to put on, I don't know, maybe another 20 kilos to be at that size. But again, I go back to Edwards being back. I think he knows football. He knows the players. He knows what we need. And we are going to get some surprises in this transfer window. We're going to say, oh, we didn't see that coming, but we like it.
Sometimes we do get some good surprises. And I always say this, when we do some good deals, and the thing with FSG, right, is I could praise them for certain things, but I can also call them out for other things. Is that when we do some good business, it is good business with like Edwards and the recruitment staff underneath. They do some good business at times, but when they aren't given the budget to do so, that's when we're knackered, and that's when we're struggling. We went into a season in 2020, 2021. We went into a season with 3 centre backs: Virgil van Dijk, Gomez, and Joe Matip. Joe Matip and Joe Gomez were known injury-prone players, and then we went we were top by December. Also, we had the big injuries to the centre backs there. But then when we went into January, we delivered nothing for them.
And we had Henderson and Fabinho playing centre back. You remember?
Yeah. And then I think FSG are happy to see that happen. And this is where my problem is with FSG. They should have said, we can still get Konate down the line. We can still wait for Konate. Konate is our number one. But we still need to dress this up right now. We've got a league title to win this season. This is what happened this season again in January. Everyone was saying, oh, maybe we do need a DM. Maybe we do need a DM. Maybe we do need this. January came round. Zip. Absolute zip. And then you see now, we're starting to fail. We're starting to run out of energy. We're starting to show that that extra bit of player, that extra one player or two players would have made a huge difference.
I don't want to see Maka at the 6 next year. Maka is a number 8.
I've said it for a long time, Maka's a number 8. It was quite clear Maka's a number 8. And people said, well, I played a double pivot at Brighton. He played along Caicedo. Caicedo was the engine. Caicedo was the number 6. It wasn't Maka. He does the same at Argentina. Exact same at Argentina. But yeah, going forward then, boys. Weekend coming up, we've got to win again.
12-30 game.
But we've got to win every game at the moment. And we said this last night before the Everton game, we said it before the Crystal Palace game, and now we've lost 2 games that we shouldn't be losing. We've got to literally win every game now until the end of the season. Hope that Man City and Arsenal do drop points. Obviously, I don't know what Man City do now. Has anyone got the live score up now? I can't get it up at the moment. Go on. 1-0 Man City. There you go. Then. They're not dropping points. That's the problem. And Arsenal against Chelsea were just relentless. Absolutely relentless. Yeah, Chelsea are poor, but Arsenal, we've played poor teams in the last few days. And Everton are poor, but look at what they've just done to us. Arsenal being relentless, and Arsenal deserve absolute praise for what they're doing right now, playing great football, top scorers in the league, and best defence in the league. There's a reason why they're in title race. This weekend, boys, do we bounce back? Or is it too little, too late, Carter?
I think, honestly, this is going to come back to bite me in the arse, but I think West Ham will be easier to play than Everton. I think they haven't looked that good recently. I think they've sort of run out of steam. It feels like Moyes is going. They're in a bit like of a limbo situation. They fought out of Europa. They're probably in kind of a similar position to us. And I just think we should have enough. Obviously Paqueta's great, but I think if they play like James Ward-Prowse, I think it'll be quite like we should be able to dominate the midfield. I don't think he's very good. And I'm sorry I sound a bit depressed, but I just think we should do it. But I'm just worried. Like I still like Kudus and Bowen, but we should at least easily do them. It'll be nice to have Cody back after like he's had his kid, and fingers crossed. Maybe we see Bajcetic at some point, and I just don't know. I'm not even looking forward to it at this point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've got to look forward to the game, but we're not really. Even if we win the game, we're not guaranteed to be in the title race. Still, that's the problem. And then it's really hard to get really up for the games right now. And West Ham is. You think we're going to be easy against West Ham, but West Ham away is not an easy task at all. And Mr. Mikel Antonio has a point to prove after what he said about the Footballers podcast. I will be personally speaking to Ricky Hayward-Williams, who does the football podcast. He's coming on my personal podcast in the short future. And I was speaking to him about Mikel Antonio and what he thinks about Liverpool, because I know he said a few words and it bit him in the arse last time. But I just got a feeling that he's going to do something this weekend, just for sheer. That's it. Liverpool season's done now anyway. Kings, what do you think this weekend? Is West Ham a tricky away team to beat?
It is. It is a tricky game because it's away. I mean, they can be difficult to play against, and Moyes does set up his teams, especially the bigger teams. He seems to really just like do the extra. Against us, I think they are going to raise their game. Like you said, Antonio has got to. No, I don't know. He's got this bee in his bonnet about Liverpool.
He's starting to score at the right time. He's starting to bag goals now.
He just seems to have an attitude against Liverpool for some reason. I don't know what they've ever done. I don't know if when was he ever in the youth and they got rid of him or something. I have no idea, because he just doesn't like them for some reason. It will be difficult, like Carter said. Yeah, it depends who Moyes plays. They do seem to be kind of petering out now. And Moyes looks like he might be on his way himself. So both teams are looking at it. it's starting to get to holiday mode, the summer. It doesn't matter if Liverpool win 10-0. Yes, it might look good for us, but it's 3 points in the bag. But you're not going to catch Arsenal and Man City now. And I know I sound negative, but I'm being a realist. I am not setting myself up for a fall going, we're going to win the league still, because they've messed it up in the last few games. Yes, and then they flatter us with a win and we go, oh, it's great, we're back in. But as we've just said, City are winning. Arsenal are relentless. There's no way that both of them are going to drop out. If it was one team, it might be a mistake and you go, oh, that happened. But for both of them to now mess up and Liverpool take it would be, well, I don't know, it'd be phenomenal, but it's not going to happen. So I'm a realist sitting back going, listen, they've got to at least get top 4. And I know what Klopp's saying, and it should be hopefully in the bag, but because to get back into the Champions League, obviously, and that can attract a different type of player then than what playing in the Europa League can.
That's one thing I agree with you there, Kings. In terms of the negativity, when people say, oh, you're just being negative. No, it's actually just being real.
Yeah.
You
might as well just be realistic.
You can't criticize people for being real.
Yeah.
It's like it's just one of them. It's like, and I'm sure Paul and Carter and yourself will agree. It's like, what's the point of getting yourself too worked up going, we've got to win, we've got to win, we've got to win, when we already know we're starting on this slippery slope of it's just coming to nothing in the end. So it's like, well, just get your head around it and then just get to the summer.
How many times you see in our chat? I mean, it's happened over the past few months where we go 1-0 down, they're like, oh, it's all good, it's all okay. We're Liverpool Football Club, we do it the hard way all the time. But then that has not been said now in the past few weeks because they're realising, hang on, it's not that good. We shouldn't be going 1-0 down. Regardless of the result afterwards, we should not be going 1-0 down all the time. It's ridiculous. And
what did they say yesterday on the stats? Was it something like 16 games they've gone behind?
In the Premier League alone, I think it's 30.
That's outrageous, really. And I mean, they've done well for most of it to come back. But you can only do that so long. You can only live like that for so long and then you get caught out.
And this is why the negativity back then was justified because they could see what will come in.
Yeah.
Paul, go on, mate.
You see, people float around that stat about how many points we have gotten from losing position as if it's something to be proud of. It's not. Because why are we going behind so often? That's a big negative for me. So I don't know. As it relates to West Ham game, if we can't score a couple of goals past them, then we're in big trouble. Yes, they may score on us. I expect both teams to score. But West Ham, they have good attacking players. Kudos to the player that we wanted at Liverpool. Paqueta is really a good player. James Ward-Prowse, set piece, he's okay. But other than that, he doesn't really offer much in my opinion. But at the back, there's nobody in their back line that scares me. Zuma is not the player he used to be. What's it again? Mavropanos, these are just average at best players, right? So if we can score 2-3 past those kind of players, their goalkeeper is nothing special. He's just average too. He's a bottom 10 goalkeeper, if you ask me. So yes, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that David Moyes might just park the bus on us, because he doesn't want to lose either. So if we can put a couple of goals past them, then what's the point? No, the Premier League is done. We have no chance of winning, and plus we don't deserve to win. The only good thing about it, as it stands right now, is I can enter the final day of the season without being worked up, without being nervous. Right? I don't think I can forget a couple years ago when we needed to win and hope that City dropped points, and then City was down 2-0 against Villa. And we were leading, and Steven Gerrard allowed them to come back in the game and won 3-2. Yeah. That is the worst I've felt in years as a Liverpool supporter. So I don't need to worry about that this year, but we still need to win another game or two to make sure we are in top 4, because it's no more top 5 again, because we make sure that it's not 5 teams on the Premier League going to Champions League, because we make sure, yes.
And we were the ones that got knocked out for that.
Correct. So there's been no more. We don't need to worry about top 5. It's top 4. And if we lose to West Ham, and then Spurs beat us, Spurs and Villa beat us, we top 4 is not guaranteed. I don't think it will happen. But until we're mathematically sure of top 4, this is Liverpool. I'm a Liverpool fan. I've seen some crazy stuff happen over the past 10 years. So But if I can end on a bright note, Damon, if you had asked me last year, especially after we shit the bed on Caicedo, that we are going to finish top 4 and win 1 trophy, and score so many play the way we have played, I would have said, sign me up. So, I guess, are we too hard on ourselves? Maybe. Is our team not as good as we think they are? Probably. Because if you're being realistic, Arsenal have a better starting 11 than Liverpool. Man City have more talent than us. So maybe 3rd place is where we're supposed to be.
I think we do need to keep our standards though as well, Paul, because when it comes into summer, if we are admitting that we are the 3rd best team on paper, why are we?
Right now we have it. We need to change that. But right now we have it. Yep.
And I feel sorry for the new manager coming in if he doesn't get allowed to change that and he doesn't get allowed to be given the tools to go and win the titles, because he's going to be the scapegoat when next season. If we don't win the title and we somehow get top 4, we could easily become a top 4 club if we're not careful.
2-0, Man City. So
much dropping up. It's so funny. The only thing I could take positive about, it's not even a positive, it's just a madness that if we do classify ourselves as neutrals now, I'm hoping it does go to the last game of the season. And as a neutral watching the title race, I hope it goes to the last game of the season because it's more interesting. But it's mad thinking that we're neutrals right now.
Who do you want to win? Arsenal or City?
Arsenal, 100% Arsenal.
Who do you want to win?
You know Arsenal what? I think Arteta deserves it after the stick he's got. I don't like the Arteta stick because I don't think it's deserved. I think he's done a very good job. And my best mate's an Arsenal fan. So it'd be nice for him, but I don't know. Can they both lose if possible? Can we go into lockdown? Is that possible? Can we go into lockdown? That's a possible choice. Arsenal fans are an Arsenal hero, but so Liverpool fans, you'll see it in our chat. Liverpool fans are just the same as Arsenal fans. Some of them are just as deluded as Arsenal fans. So,
yeah, but I can't stand to see Man City with 4 in a row, man. That will not be broken in my lifetime.
I get that. But it also pisses my United fans off a bit more. City.
I can't stand Mikel Arteta, but I probably hate Pep a little bit more.
Whoever wins the Premier League title, it's looking likely that it's not Liverpool now. That's the worst thing out of it all. We're sitting here as possible neutrals in this title race now, and we've allowed this to happen. I think this is why we need to keep our foot right on the club right now and say, this is our standard. This needs to be our standard. This needs to be addressed, because right now I think the club as a whole is getting away with murder in terms of the standard. And that needs to change. I'm hoping this new Edwards era, this new post-Klopp era, it starts off with a bang, with a possible manager coming in with, it looks like Arne Slot is coming in the next week or so, I presume, with the way he's talked about that, the way it's come out tonight, that he is close to joining Liverpool and he's happy to join Liverpool as well. That should be confirmed pretty soon, I think. Other than that, it's all up in the air in terms of players, in terms of what we go next season, who we buy in, who we let go. It's definitely a summer. It's going to be one of the biggest summers of this club in a very long time. And we need to get it right. And that's why we need to keep our standards up, and our standards on FSG as well. They don't realise our standards. Our standards are up there. They might have took us over when we were down there, but really our club is up there in terms of standards, and that's where it should be. And that's where fans' standards should be. I hope you all have a great night tonight, guys. I hope you have all a great weekend. I hope it ends on a Liverpool win on Saturday, and hopefully somehow more drop points for Arsenal and Man City at some point, but I doubt it. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a great night. Thank you.